Greetings, and welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us here at the Come Up, episode number 14 of the Rise of the Entrepreneurs. So, this evening, we have a very inspiring story that we're going to be sharing with you. And I want a lot of you to really tune into this and hear this story and this message. It's going to be one that is going to really inspire and motivate a lot of you, especially those of you that have gone through some different trials and tribulations within your life. So let this just be an encouragement to you to persevere over these things that we all encounter in life. It is just part of the things that we have to go through. It's an experience, right? So we just want to, share these words and these stories with you to encourage you, to enlighten you, and to inspire you to reach out and do greater and better things within your life. So if you will, just give me a moment. I'm going to be sharing this out and give some more people the time to join in with us before we get started. So if you will, just leave us a comment as you're jumping on board. We want to give you a shout out and thank you for joining us. So just go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to share this out, and then we're going to get started. All right. So just bear with me for a minute. Greetings and welcome. Thanks for jumping on board with us this evening. If you would, just leave us a comment. Let us know where you're checking in from. We'd love to acknowledge you. Just going to share this out real quick. Greetings and welcome to the Come Up, episode number 14, The Rise of the Entrepreneurs. We're just sharing this out and giving some people the opportunity to jump on board before we get started. So if you would, just leave us a comment so we can acknowledge you. And then we are going to be getting started very shortly. So folks, let me know how your Thursday has been for you so far. Has it been productive for you? You get anything accomplished? Let us know. All right, let's share this out one more time, and then we can get this party started. Alrighty, I think we are good to go. Let me see. Okay. Okay, let's see who we got in the building. My man, brother William Anisa. It's good to see you, my brother. Thank you for joining us. I have my sister Jackie Scott, longtime friend since kindergarten. Yes, sis. How are you? How are you? And Will is checking in from Miami. Yeah, that's the place to be, right? All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Yes, so folks, as you're coming on board, please leave us a message so we can give you a shout out. And thank you for joining us this evening or early afternoon. Well, late afternoon, I should say. All right, so let's get going and see what we're going to be talking about this evening. So, we have a very special guest that's going to be coming out to speak with us this evening, and she's going to be sharing her story and her experience of what has transpired in her life. It is a very inspiring story. So I encourage each and every one of you to really tune in and listen to this. It's going to be something that is going to inspire you. For those of you, well, we've all been through different things within our lives and been, we had to experience many obstacles and things that, got in our path in completing the direction in which we were looking to proceed. So she's going to be sharing her story of having the life that she really embraced and loved for herself. She had the great family life, the great marriage, and a business to support all of that. But then the marriage kind of fell apart, and when that happened, the business went down as well. So she came to a crossroads within her life, and that was, does she take the easy way out and go back to working for somebody else? Or does she continue to pursue her dreams and take on that challenge and that burden of being an entrepreneur? So I want you to hear her story, and she's going to tell you how everything unfolded with that. So I'm going to bring her out now. And as we have Nika Noel here beside us. Good afternoon, Nika. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm awesome. Thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for joining us. All right, so yeah, we're just telling the people a little bit about your story, but let me just tell them a little bit more about you, and then going to have you introduce yourself, and you can tell us some more about yourself as well. All right.
No,
So this is Nikeza. Uh, Short name is Nica Noel. She's from Linden, Guyana, and currently she's being held against her will out of her country. And this, the reason why she's being held, she has come to the realization that it is indeed a divine intervention. Um, but that's not the way it was put out, being that we're going through the COVID and there are many travel restrictions. She was not able to go back home currently, but God has time and place for everything. So it is His will that is keeping her from where she really wants to be at this time. But she understands that you have to be obedient to the Word of God and let Him work things out in His own way. So she understands that, and she gets that, and you're really going to understand that when she gets to telling her story. So she is of the Christian faith. She has three beautiful children. She started out as a school teacher, and she did that for over 8 years. She is currently an event planner. She's been doing that for over 6 years and has 4 employees. She also has her own clothing line. She's been doing that for a year. She's also a logo designer, and she is responsible for the creative design of her own clothing line and t-shirts. And she also has her newest venture, which is in the health and wellness business with TLC, Total Life Changes. So, Nika, if you would just come out, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. And thank you again for having me.
My
What
pleasure.
can I say about me? I am awesome. So test God. I had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with that.
Yes.
So test God, and He convinced me. So I can say that. I can say that I am awesome. Where do I start? I came from a place, a small town
Mm-hmm.
called Linden in the country of Guyana,
Uh-huh.
and I was born and bred there. All
Okay.
of my experiences with the outside world came uh, when I was already all grown up and that sort of thing. I basically hadn't done anything outside of that community or outside of Guyana, so to speak, for most of my life. But
Mm-hmm.
then life has a way of changing and your direction change. Let me say, God has a way of changing direction when He sees fit. So things,
He has the master plan.
right? Things
Yes.
begin to change in such a way that I mean, there is no way to not just comply with what God has planned for you. Um, he knows my stubbornness and how ridiculous I think sometimes. I think sometimes I probably be giving God some heartburn or something. This girl,
I, I'm
but He
sure.
has ways in making sure that I follow His instructions, and whenever I do that, then as God is always God, He's not a man that He lies or He doesn't fulfill His promises. So when He says, "Go over there, little girl, do not move," it's
Yes. Yes.
and whenever I comply, His promises are always there to be fulfilled. Yes, so I came from a place called Linden, Guyana. It is,
Mm-hmm.
and Linden is. I remember one time that I wrote a poem about Linden with my love-hate relationship with Linden.
Really. Okay.
Yes, I did, and I put it on Facebook, and then it caused. I mean, some people were dying with laughter or whatever, but Lindeners are awesome. They're very laid back.
Okay.
And call your neighbor and say, "I'm coming and get some food. I ain't cooked today." And they say, "Come over, come
Mm.
over. I got stuff." They're like that.
Okay.
Very hospitable. They're
Mm-hmm.
hardworking people and very community minded. If they
Okay.
rally for a cause in their community, or for some person in that community, it's do or die. That's the way that they are.
Nice.
My, what can I say? The not so, what can I say, positive that I feel about
Okay.
my hometown is that I think we stay a lot in a box. And I think because of the way that I think, I'm always kind of outside of it. So it makes you feel like why you always kind of have to be different with the whole thing.
Right.
But
Okay.
the people in themselves are awesome. It's a small community,
Mm-hmm.
about maybe 6,000, 7,000 people. So
Uh-huh.
basically, everybody knows everybody, which is
Okay.
an advantage in some ways because if anything of your business gets out of the house, then everybody knows everybody and everybody knows your business. And
Yes.
for me, that
Yes.
was very difficult because even though now that I'm in the public eye, I'm a very private person. I don't like to have my business. I will leave you to believe whatever you want to believe rather than explain to you what's happening because I
Gotcha.
don't want you up in my kind of my business. So that was kind of most of my issues with growing up in a small town. But
Okay.
the people are awesome. If you get to know them, like they're your friends and family, and you don't even know how you became friends and family. They just have,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, brother Rob, okay, come on in," and they welcome you. They're very much like that.
Love
So
that. Love
That
that.
was kind of what I was trying to say in my poem. I grew up, initially, I grew up in a nuclear family, mom, dad, the whole works,
Okay.
provided for,
Hmm.
mm, education. My father, in particular, is very serious about education. So as a child growing up, you had the regular family, the regular play, the regular, everything seemed to be just fine. And then my parents got divorced. And then
Okay.
what you can say, I saw both sides of the coin of life.
Right.
So I knew what it is to have everything, and then I knew what it is to basically have not
Hmm.
enough of anything. I know what it is to feel embarrassed and not have enough to. Whew,
Yes, yes, it's a lot. It's a lot. All right. All right.
so,
So let me pause you right there. I just want to acknowledge a couple of people that jumped on board. We have Vern's Junk Closet, our famous YouTube cheerleader out there. Vern, thank you for joining us.
uh,
And Nika, I'm going to say to you that when you do, it's not a question of if, but when you do start your YouTube channel, that's the young lady that you definitely need to get with. Vern's Junk Closet. I will share her information with you.
okay,
She's
appreciate it.
awesome. She's going to help you grow and build out your channel and
Awesome.
let you know all the little tips and details you need to know about having a very creative and productive YouTube
All right,
channel. All right.
great.
We also have Lorraine Strong. Good evening, sis. Thank you for joining us. Glad to have you as well. And we also have As Told by Tina on our YouTube side. So she's another young lady that you definitely can connect with on YouTube when you get your channel up and running. So, yeah, we're going to be sharing that information out to you so you can connect with all of these individuals and they're going to help you along your journey. All right. So, now getting back to what you were saying about you going through the experience of your parents and them having their unfortunate divorce. In life, it's kind of ironic how things happen, and you see cycles continue to repeat themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we just have to pray on those things and start to break them cycles,
Yes,
prevent it from carrying on to our family members as well.
I
All right.
agree.
Yeah. All right.
That is,
So
mhm.
go ahead.
I was saying while thinking while you were talking that is,
Hmm.
if anybody asked me why I became a Christian, that was kind of my number one reason.
Okay.
In my head, as a young woman, I thought that as a Christian,
Hmm.
certain events that had to do with my parents, their divorce, their separation, and everything that they went through would not find me because I'm hidden in this God that promised to take care
Yes.
of me and uh, make sure that the arrows didn't touch me. So
Right.
it was difficult when things did begin to unravel for me to connect
Hmm.
the God that I thought I knew and the God that was allowing me to go through all of
Okay.
it. And that took a moment for me
Hmm.
to kind of begin to understand who God is,
Okay.
put him in a box. So continuing with my childhood, out of that situation, uh, several things begin to happen in its negative form. One of the things is that I grew up kind of too early.
To what?
Mentally, I began to grow up. Uh,
Okay.
yes, because now I'm I have additional responsibilities to
Right.
assist with my brother and sister. I have two siblings
Okay.
within that marriage. Yeah, and so I began to mentally begin to grow older than I was chronologically at the time. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing is that I grew kind of a thick skin, and I became very cynical about the world. Like you would not believe. The trust went through the window. When I got to adulthood, most people would say, you give people a chance, and then if they screw up or whatever, then I've never been like that because of that particular experience. When people
Okay.
come to me, my first thought is they want something. If they're nice to me, what do you want? People in my head, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
nice are not naturally nice.
Okay.
They, if they stay and they prove themselves, then that's a
Mm-hmm.
different scenario. Then I'm like, okay, you're worth my time. Whether it's in
Okay.
relationships, friendships, relatives, it didn't matter. For me, you had to prove yourself. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
is good. And I live the scripture where it says that man is desperately wicked. Oh my God, I run with that. Like
Okay.
in my head, people are naturally bad, and then maybe if they prove themselves, then they're good. So I became very cynical and very distrustful of the world. That's one. And there was very little that would penetrate me. Uh, if I cry, nobody knew that. I wouldn't cry in front of people. I didn't
Okay.
care what was going on. When I'm behind doors, I would fall apart, and that was even as a child. If somebody hurt my feelings, I would never retaliate, but I would go home, I would cry, and I would lock that situation away. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. The thing is, it developed with me the ability to shut people out completely. It's like you no longer exist for me.
Okay.
In my head, you had one time to cross me, and when you do, that's over. I will not try to hurt you. I will not throw hints at you. I will not engage you on any level. You
Gotcha.
no longer exist. I'm done. We could be
Mm.
living in the same house. I remember one time we were living, my sister and I got into something. I didn't talk to her for a whole month.
Yeah.
By that time. My mother didn't know. But when she did, black women don't be played.
Oh
She
yeah. Oh
said,
yeah.
are you crazy? In my house, like literally, I did not even, I don't know. My sister passed me up, down. I don't care. I couldn't be bothered. And
Yeah.
that came from me locking all when my dad left. Uh, my my insecurities, because in my house, my dad is dark, and I'm the only one that took that color. I also took
Okay.
a lot from him in terms of his drive, his ambition, and this kind of bossy, I'm in charge kind of thing. And the other two siblings took more after my mother in terms of their coloring. So that was
Okay.
kind of major for me. Like, why am I the only dark one? Like
So so your
black.
mother was lesbian?
My mother is light skinned.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom is light skinned. So the other two siblings took after her, and then I'm the only dark kid. So when my father left, automatically I am the only person in the house that's dark. And that messed with my mental. Like I couldn't understand why, like, I was born this way. I had all these questions and so on. Even growing
Mm-hmm.
up as a young lady and a teenager, you begin to develop physically. um, my mom is what you would call bell shaped or hourglass figure kind of thing. And when I begin to develop, I started to develop that. And obviously, the opposite sex, they're going to come after you. A young girl, she seemed to be looking. And there was no time that whatever they said to me didn't come off wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was lewd. Why are you like? I didn't think enough of myself to think that I was that attractive. Like, you just got to be kidding me. And I found and I've always been very wordy because English has always been my thing. So
Okay.
16, I'm telling a young man, you're not in my category. Excuse me. Like, why are you bothering me?
Uh,
My mom would say, child, At some point, you'll have to pick somebody. You're growing up. But I couldn't be bothered with the whole boyfriend and girlfriend. I got my first
Mhm.
boyfriend at 21 because I just
What?
couldn't. Yes, I just couldn't. Like, I didn't want people bothering me. What could you possibly say to me to convince me that, well, you wanted to be with me? I just thought that they're liars. I can't trust you. And that played like a really big part in kind of developing me initially into the type of person that I
Mm.
was.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So a lot of things there built up inside.
Yes.
So you had some insecurities there about
Mhm.
yourself, your
Yes.
physical appearance, and the way people looked at you and felt about you.
Yep.
So where do you think those came from?
I think those came from when my dad left. Um, like, why would you leave me?
Or you
My dad
you
and
felt like
I were really close. Yeah, we were really close. Me growing up, I was
Mhm.
close with my dad than I was with my mom.
Okay.
And in my head, he didn't leave my mother. He left me, and I
Mhm.
took that personally. For
Okay.
years, when I did get to adulthood, I punished my dad. He couldn't get through to me. He tried. He
Wow.
couldn't. I couldn't be bothered. Like, why are you bothering me? Like, I'm not
Wow.
interested. He
Yeah.
tried. I can tell you, he tried to bridge that gap and to, you know, want to do us just get together and do things. It took
Mhm.
years. And every time I said no to him, I felt like I was accomplishing something because in my head, you shouldn't have left. The fact that you left, well, I needed you then, but I don't need you now. Why are you here? I would be polite to him. Uh,
Mhm.
he stayed at my home when my grandfather died and all of that. But still, we didn't have a relationship at the time. It took
Mhm.
it took a long time. It took, but the thing is, he put the work in. Luckily,
Yeah.
he put
Yeah.
the work in, and now our relationship is we talk every day. He's one of my biggest supporters.
Awesome.
Uh, our thought patterns flows kind of in the same. We have
Okay.
the same kind of a drive when it comes to economics
Mhm.
and education and being more ambitious and that sort of thing. And so we click.
All right. Good. Good.
Talk to my dad about anything, and he understands. He takes the time to listen and just kind
Mhm.
of be there for me. But it took a long time for him to break through that wall.
Yes.
Like,
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm glad you guys reconciled that relationship and built upon it before it was too late. So yeah,
yeah.
that's good to hear. Good to hear. All right. So did you go to college?
Yes, I did. I went to a college in Linden, Guyana called the Cyril Potter College of Education. That's
Okay.
like a teachers training um, college. So after I left school, I got a job for a little bit, and I think I worked there for like 2 years, and then afterwards I got into teaching, and then I got into college where I spent
Okay.
like 2 years.
All right. Good. All right. So moving right along. So when did you meet your husband?
I met my husband in second. I think it was 1999.
Okay.
I was on my way to college that day because the college that what I did, I did not do like pre-service. I would teach in the mornings at my school, and then in
Right.
the afternoons I would go to college tonight at like till the evening,
Okay.
and then we would go home. So
Right.
it was tough, but I made it work. And then one day I was going to get like snacks so that I
Hmm.
could get into college and so on. And this person came up to me with my attitude again, came up to me and
Yeah,
gave
I can see it now.
his number on a piece of paper. That time in Linden,
Uh,
cell phones weren't that prevalent. Like we didn't know anything about that. So it
okay.
was like landline. So he wrote his number on a piece of paper and gave it to me and said, please call me. I'm like, okay. I put the number in my bag and it disappeared. I never remember that number.
Uh-huh.
2 years after, I was going to pick up something from my tailor so that I could go to school the next day.
Mm.
And this person rode up to me on a bicycle actually and said, that's how you treat your friends. I'm like, why is this Negro following? I was polite. I've always been a very polite person, but I could
Uh,
be very, what's the word, short with people. So I said, I'm fine, I'm just going out and everything is fine, whatever. He said, okay. And he left and he went on his merry way.
mm.
About 2 days after he stopped by, well, we had a concert. One of the singers from the US, I think, was coming into Linden, and we had a Christian concert, and he came and he asked me if I wanted to go and so on, and that's kind of how things progressed over the next 2 years. I think we dated for like 2 years, and
Okay.
then we subsequently got married.
All right. Good. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the marriage now. So what type of living did he have?
Okay, so he is a third generation businessman. And
Okay.
so we got married. He moved me out of my mother's house and took me into this big house, business, and the whole works or whatever. I'm thinking that, okay, God, you have just set me up. I mean, everything is moving in order. I finished
Yes.
college by that time. I'm just
Okay.
teaching, I mean? My job is good. I got a husband, the children start to come. I have a business, I'm on the
Top of the
up.
world.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking this Christian thing pays off. Like, Jesus, you just got this, I just love it
Yes.
at that point.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we thrived. Our business expanded. Every
Hmm.
single year, we were able to add another piece or do
Okay.
something different. We became MoneyGram agents. We had 2 locations. We were doing well. And for 2 people, because I was never really a business person. I've
Okay.
always kind of been like, I can draw and I can paint. And so at school, I would like do teaching aids for other teachers, and they
Okay.
would pay me.
Hmm.
Or you're running low on funds, so I would probably make some snaps or whatever and take it to college and sell it. That was the extent of my business experience. So when
Okay.
you are thrown into a situation where you have to help somebody to run a business, it was a little bit overwhelming, but God was faithful. He came through for us, and we made it more than work.
Hmm.
We worked well together. Even at this point, if we are to do anything in terms of business, we're very good business partners.
Okay.
Maybe not so well together romantically, but we're very good business partners.
Right.
He dealt with the general management of our business, made most of. We would discuss decisions, but I would always follow his lead when it
Right.
came to things like that. I would deal with our accounting, making sure the records were okay. He is more a theory person. He
Hmm.
has kind of the ideas, how we're going to move to the next level, yada, 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 that kind of a thing. I am more action. I would actually go and get the work done. So if we
Okay.
had to pack all of this, with the employees, I would fall in. I was more of the action and executing the duties that we would have planned. And so in that capacity, we did well.
Okay.
After about our children came, and they were coming pretty fast. We got 3 children. And then, like, I was having my second child, a girl. And then he said, you know what, you'll probably not be able to teach anymore because I need help here. You teaching, so teaching the business, a new husband, children coming, it was like a lot.
Hmm.
So I did make the decision. I left teaching And then we continue with the business. It continued to grow. We were doing well. One of the things that I did point out to him is that we were doing well because one, we were being obedient to God, and two, we were unified.
Yes.
That has always been my thought. I'm
Mm.
saying two young people. I mean, he grew up in business, but I didn't know anything about it. We could have flopped.
Right.
We should have flopped. I mean, I don't know anything. How much help could I possibly be? But we didn't. We did well. In around year 10 or around year 11, well, we, like every married couple, I believe we were having our own issues. I didn't think they were anything insurmountable. I
Mm-hmm.
just thought maybe this was what marriage was like. You quarrel about stuff. But for me, entering any thought of separation or anything like that didn't ever occur to me. And around year 10 or about year 11, he came to me and he said he wanted a divorce.
Wow. Wow.
I lost my marbles. I was devastated because I'm thinking like, out of the blues, what is happening that we need to get from here to
Yeah.
all the way over here? Like, remember we were Christians, so, and then again, Linen is a small community, so by
Yep.
the time news of it started to spread, everybody came on board.
All in your business.
All of my business. The pastor
Mm.
came and talked.
Oh boy.
Some Christians came and talked. Family relatives came and talked. Everybody had their own little bit to add.
Yes. I'm not hearing you. You lost your mic. Check your mic. Your volume went low.
No.
Say something. No, I still don't have no volume. All right. Yeah, it's coming in now. Say
Okay.
something. Okay,
Hello.
there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Yes. Where was I? At that point, I am going through my stages of grief.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm reasoning. I'm trying to figure out what is wrong. Like, what is it that we can't fix or we can't whatever. At some point you get to acceptance.
Okay.
And when I got to that point, during the process, I'm asking this God that I've been, because I got baptized. I started, what can I say? I got saved at 17
Mm-hmm.
and I got baptized when I was 19.
Okay.
So basically, in my head, I got married at 25. I was 25 when we got married. In my head, I'm asking this God, like, it's not measuring up. This right here is what is one of the reasons why I joined my life to you, why I pay my tithes, why I go to church, why I participate, why I stand on a stage and I sing and I dance because I danced at church, why I do all these things for you because you promised that you are going to keep me safe. And I asked you, like I'm literally having a conversation with God, like with an attitude. I say, I asked you to keep me from all this mess, and you put me plump in the middle of it.
Mm.
Like I believe, to tell you the truth, our God has got to be a merciful God because the mess that came out of my mouth, if God wasn't who God was, I'd probably be swallowed in the earth or some kind of thing. I just went berserk, like I'm blaming God. Like, how could you? What my life has, what I did, and because in my head, the works that I would have performed should have been enough. Like, it didn't mean anything to you. My prayers, my praise, my worship means nothing to you.
Mm.
Anyway, so I left that situation alone. I got to the place where I accepted everything, and then I slowly began to pray again. Because for a long time, I wasn't praying. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to see. After that, after I behaved that way, I didn't know what else to say to him.
Hmm.
Because at that, I was praying for my marriage. I was asking him why, whatever, and nothing seemed to be working. Like, it's like God just pack up his stuff and move out. He had no time for me. So I lost it. But then when I did get to the point of acceptance or whatever, I slowly began to pray again and kind of try to find some alone time and, kind of zero in on the entire situation. I had already told my husband, well, if this is the way that you want to behave, I'm running no business with no man like that. And I left.
Okay.
Mentally, I checked out. Yeah, I
Hmm.
checked out. And that caused, I believe, my part in kind of deserting the entire thing uh, was very instrumental in making it clear.
So
Because I
so you left the home?
no, we were still in the home together. We never
Okay.
left the home. Even after we were separated, we lived there for several years.
Okay.
I mind my business and he mind his, or try to mind his, but I couldn't be bothered with it anymore. So I didn't participate. I just left it alone. The employees came, okay, all right. I went upstairs. I did what I needed to do. I was no longer interested. The records are there. I'm not looking after that. I don't care what's happening with the accounts. I just checked out.
Okay.
But in my head, you don't get to treat me like that. And then I'm just gonna come and a show to show people what, that we're still united. No. So I had an attitude with everything, and I basically left.
Oh
Me,
yeah, I can just see it. Oh
so,
man.
like me and my attitude, I couldn't be bothered
Yeah.
with anything else, and I just kind of, and we just continued to live. Whatever monies came in, whatever, we took care of our children. We
Mm.
cooked food. We did everything together except have anything really to do with each other. We
Okay.
cooked, we washed, we took care of the children. Whatever, paid the bills, whatever. We're not talking. We're not having anything to say to each other, but things are being done. Whatever. That was my life for a really long
All
couple
right.
of years.
So what was your mindset then at that particular time? Were you okay, I need to find my own path, or am I just going to stick here and see what happens? Where were you at mentally?
Okay, in terms of that, I've always been a person, and I don't know, it just kind of kicks in whenever I'm in any kind of a situation. My brain begins to come up with different things. So I'm already thinking ahead. If I'm not having anything to do with that business, I need to find employment. But the
Okay.
thought of going back to teaching did not really appeal to me. That would have been the easiest thing. I'm a trained
Yeah.
teacher. There's no reason that
Yes.
I shouldn't be able to just go reapply and just continue.
Hmm.
Uh, I was good at my job. This is with no ego. I was great at my job. So I knew that if I went ahead, that I would get my job back. But
Hmm.
I don't want that for myself anymore. I still love teaching, but it's like it's no longer with that passion that
Right.
initially I started out with. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own business.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. My brother, oh my God, I love that dude. Everything I told my brother we wanted to try, he was willing. Okay, we're going to sell some water. Great.
Okay.
We get a canter, pack up some water, we're selling wholesale water.
All
If I
right.
told him we're selling juice, all right, good. How are we selling this juice? He was on board with every single thing. But one
That's
of
what
the
you need. You need that support.
I needed it. I needed it. That, and you see, years after, when you're sitting and you're kind of replaying things in your life, you don't realize how much God provides for you in that moment. It's not just about the finances,
Yes.
it's about the support. I do not know what I would have done if my brother, well, we have always been close.
Okay.
If my brother, mother, and sister hadn't been there for me,
Okay.
especially my brother.
Hmm.
He's always game. Like, What you want to do? We doing it. All right. You always with some. All right. We going. He was like that. During the same time, I would pray. I begin to pray more, and I would ask God. I said, like, what do I do? Like which particular business you think I could get into, or what could I really? I needed that direction because remember, you're kind of all over. You're still healing. You're scattered. Like I would pray every single time, and this is no joke. I don't know how people say that God don't talk to them. Every single time I prayed, God brought me back to event planning. I was so annoyed. Like I had no experience in event planning. I've always been very creative in things, but I had
Yes.
no experience. It never even entered my thoughts. So obviously, I would ignore it. And God always, and we know the God we serve, He always makes sure that He confirms His word. So it wasn't just
Mm-hmm.
thinking this in my mind. It wasn't that I was thinking this in my mind. Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was also that I was scriptures were being shown to me, like talking about my obedience when I send messages and that sort of thing. And then people would kind of come and say, why you don't I see you do a nice thing for this for the church and whatever. Why you don't, those kind of things would start to happen. I paid no mind. Like you would not believe. Because in my head, in our community, you can't make no money with event planning.
Okay.
I calculated my dollars and I'm saying I can't make no money. So I just ignored the whole thing and I continue to pay. I tried, and this is no exaggeration and no joke, I tried at least 6 different business ventures.
Wow.
None of them worked. They
Really?
all fell apart.
Mm.
They were not successful. Some at the beginning, some midway, but it was always a blockage that for some reason I couldn't get past. At that point, I want to give up because I'm like, I don't know what else to do. I'm trying here. I ain't laying down, I'm not playing dead, I hurt or whatever, but I still going forward. For me, I think God should have been giving me a little push. Well, it's okay, man, you're trying something and push you. It did not work.
Mm-hmm.
One day, I was praying. I remember I was at my bed and I was actually on my knees. I wasn't sitting or anything. And those same thoughts about this event planning came back to my head. Listen to me. I threw a fit. I stood up. I said, listen to me, God. I said, I can't make no money with that. And I don't
Mm.
understand why you insist on pressuring me with these kind of things. I'm telling you, I'm standing in the middle of the road. If anybody in the middle of the room, if anybody had seen me, they would have thought, she is crazy. Like, what is wrong with you? I forgot reverence. I forgot everything. I'm just talking to God at this time. I said, I can't make no money with that. And I stopped again. I went not praying. But the
Uh,
Holy Spirit is so faithful. He doesn't force you. He doesn't demand you do anything. What he did is every time whisper. I would have dreams and he whispered. That's all he did. For months
mm-hmm.
that was gone. One day there was a center that we exhibit things and they had a show. And I decided, okay, I finally give in. I'm gonna go and exhibit some stuff. Let's see what happens. I was trying to my mindset at the time was I am trying to prove a point with God. I mean, I don't know why I thought I could possibly do that, but that is what I was thinking. Like, I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna do this thing, and this thing is not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't make no money with this thing. So I went ahead, I had somebody make a pair of wedding chairs for me. They made an arch. I bought one set of cutlery, one plate, one water goblet, one champagne glass, because I didn't have a lot of money to invest.
Right.
I bought 5 yards of purple cloth and 5 yards of pink. Those were going to be my theme colors.
Okay.
And I showed those invitations you see going up. I would make those. So I had a
Okay.
glass case and I displayed those. I bought like a pair of pillars and I set up real wedding style. If I
Yes.
tell you I knew what I was doing, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I set up because my mother would decorate. So you know a few things. So I decorated the place and I went to the exhibit and I'm standing there. I made jerseys for myself and my one employee at the time.
Okay.
Yes, and we standing, we took pictures looking very professional, like we know what we were doing.
That's right.
Before the night was through, there was a young lady called Wendy Reese. I'm never gonna forget Wendy. Like she came to the stand and she said, "There's a service like this in Linden. I'm interested." Now I'm excited, right? I said, "Okay, no problems." We exchanged contact and so on. She said, "I'm going to give you a call so we could discuss, stuff and so on." The radio station was there as well. And after she left, they came over and they said, "Miss Noel, could we have uh, an interview with you?" I said, "No problems. I'm behaving very professional, like I'm a real planner. If I tell you that I sat there and I could remember what I said to those people, I had no idea. I opened my mouth and I believe that God filled it with whatever it is that I had to say because they were super excited. Wow, this is interesting. And
Mhm.
they aired the interview
Wow.
with Wendy. Wendy came, she paid her money, and she asked for several things. These were the things she wanted to rent, so on, so on, so on. I took Wendy's money and I bought everything Wendy needed. I didn't make any profit, but I was fine.
Okay.
I gave Wendy the stuff. She rented them. When she was finished, she brought them back. I washed, put away, and so on. Then a young lady by the name of Denise contacted me shortly after. At this point, I haven't gone back to God to say anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still between two minds. I mean, people were receptive, but all right. So Denise said that was my first wedding. Her name is Denise Allen. I bought the stuff that I needed, and we went ahead and we decorated Dennis face. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could do that. When I was
Mm-hmm.
I had I think I was had three people with me at the time. There was a brother from our church, the same young lady that started with me. No, three of us and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we decorated. When we were finished and the people came in and so on, the next day, the bride is like, wow, no, there was no person in Linden that did what I did. That hall was transformed. I didn't know I had that in me. This is no joke. I just kind of went ahead and kind of threw myself. I put the stuff on Facebook, and as they say, the rest is history. Nikeza, I didn't know you could do this. This person got in contact. That person got in contact. Now the job is coming in and the money is coming in. Now I'm feeling ashamed of the way
Okay.
I treated the God that has been there for me over and over and
So yeah, now
now,
you're starting to see how
yeah,
God's
now
moving in your life.
I don't know what to say to him. I know I need to be reverent. I know that I need to be contrite and go before God. I don't know what to say because he's providing
Mm-hmm.
for me. He is opening doors for me. I'm doing weddings outside of my community. People are calling you from this place. People are calling you from here. People calling you from overseas. They call you from Antigua. Do you offer packages out of your country? Would you come over and do that? Like it
Wow.
blew my mind. Like this is what you said. Stop there. You see that same picture there?
Which one? On the
The
right or
one
left?
red, yes.
Okay.
This this was a wedding with a young girl that we both went to church together.
Okay.
And when we started to decorate this place, there's always something for me that it has to pop with the decoration. There's
Right.
just one wow factor. And for whatever reason, I couldn't find a wow factor for this young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Started to get agitated, and I wasn't pleased. When we finished for the first day, I wasn't pleased with what we had done so far. I went
Okay.
home, I said my prayers, and then I went to bed. I slept that night and I dreamt. There is a national flower our national flower is called the water lily. And I
Okay.
got a dream that says, when you get up in the morning, go to the swamp area because it grows in the city, not our town, Georgetown it's called.
Right.
It grows in all the trenches. It's pretty, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I dreamt you are to go and pick some of those and put it in this heart. When I got up the next morning, I said to my brother, we go in and pick these things. We went and we picked those things. And I put it in this heart. That was our wow factor.
Mm.
When she came in and she saw what that hall looked like, she was in tears.
Wow. Wow.
Like, that is the God that we serve.
Amen. Amen.
That is the God that we serve. We don't serve a God that doesn't know what's up. That is the God that we serve. So
Yes, indeed it is.
that's the God that we serve. He is
Mm.
there, He is present, He understands more than we give. Like, He understands everything, but we don't give Him enough credit that He knows what He's doing. And this is something that we really need to kind of look into. But by the
Yeah.
time I got back to God, I had to be real humble.
Yeah. Yeah, because we want things done in a microwave, quick, fast fashion, and we don't see those results coming as we expect. Then that's when we let the flesh take over, and we get very frustrated and
Yes,
discouraged. But we have to learn to understand that it is not on our time, but it's on God's
on
time.
God's time.
When that time is right, then He will synchronize everything to put it in the proper place.
Very
So, speaking on that, let's go forward a little bit and
okay.
talk about your current situation. So, now you were en route to, what was it, Canada?
Yes.
All right, so talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so on my way there, I decided to stop. I had to pass through one country, so I decided to stop and just kind of, catch up with relatives and so on. Then I said I would have been on my merry way.
Hmm.
Uh, then COVID hit, and I couldn't go anywhere.
Okay.
So I'm still en route to go where I'm supposed to go. Uh, but when God works in, my God, the term mysterious ways is an
Yes. Yes.
understatement.
Yes.
So, like, I'm here and God just showed up. It's like in my head, I had a plan. This is what I'm going to do. I'm
Yep.
going here to get this done and do that and do that and do that. God had another plan.
Yes.
When I got
Absolutely.
stuck, yeah, when I got stuck, He began to show me a whole new direction.
Uh-huh.
Not only that, He began to put people in my life that was able to open doors that I didn't even think about.
Right.
And I'm beginning to question, like I think I said to you yesterday, I think God doing something behind my back because I quite didn't understand what is happening.
Right.
The people that begin to enter my life were like, some people you don't kind of pay attention to them, but
Hmm.
those that with God begin to shift around, move around, and it became an entirely new dynamic. And then the thoughts begin to flow, like, this is what I want you to do. This is the direction you. Everything began to fall into place. There was very little effort on my part, in terms of moving from point A to point B, and
Mm-hmm.
what began to happen. And so I'm at the point in my life I've been doing, like, trying to do a lot of marketing and that sort of thing. With the whole COVID, because I think, people are at home, the event planning, nobody's gathering, so you're not getting any funding from there, so on. But I still had the clothing line that I started, so I'm gonna work on that and get things. But God has provided
Right.
financing; He has provided favor; He has provided people to help you to carry out those mandates. He has
Yep.
provided. None of that would have been possible. Like, when people are complaining about COVID, I stay very quiet, because COVID was not bad to me on any level. I'm A lot of things that were kind of bothering me and kind of interrupting my peace, God just removed those things. There was no
Yes.
effort on my part, whether it was people or things that had to be done or whatever. They just moved. There was no excuse for me to say, well, okay, I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
God made it clear. This, this, see, I'll open this door when I'm fretting. No need to fret. This is what's going to happen. Very next day, 2 days, it's happening. And so I cannot at any point in my life deny the God that we serve. I don't care who comes with whatever, and I don't care how miserable I behave. I'm never letting go of God. He had
Amen.
to teach me again to understand that that my purpose is not His purpose. And if He
True.
didn't make me uncomfortable in a situation, then I would never know. I remember during the time when stuff was going on with my husband and myself, I was by the water cooler and I'm taking some water. And I was so embarrassed because, like I said, our community is very small and
Mm-hmm.
everybody knew your business. And I felt so small. And God whispered in my ear, He said, "You see what you're going through publicly? You see this disgrace? I am going to publicly bless you in such a way that everybody knows you." I wasn't in the mood to hear that nonsense. Like, I'm going through some stuff. You will be telling me
Ooh.
whatever. But God is so faithful. Is my life perfect? Is my all my business, all everything is click, click, click? No. Are there still challenges and things to work out? Yes. But I'm in a good place.
Yep.
I'm beginning to see the vision that God has for me. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's overwhelming, but I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready. And I'm thinking, had I just gone back to school, maybe I would have just have a normal life. In the
Mm-hmm.
last uh, 6, 7 years, I've traveled more than I've ever traveled in my life. There's not one year that goes by that I'm not somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
somewhere. I'm doing something. If it's not a job, it's something else. It's school. I'm traveling. I'm here. I'm there. I'm doing a lot. And God has been so, so faithful. Like, you wouldn't have believed. I
Yeah.
continue to work hard and get
All
that.
right.
Mhm.
Very good. So let me just share something with you guys real quick. Talking about how we met. It's all a part of God's master plan that He has for her life and what she's trying to pursue. So she was catching an Uber driver. So she found a driver to take her somewhere. And just so happens that this is one of my church brothers, Brother Sylvan. Shout out to you, brother. He's a awesome man of God and always takes the time out to evangelize and deposit a good word into people's lives when they're driving with him as an Uber driver. So it just so happened that she called on Uber the second time. And guess who showed up again?
The same
The
person.
same man, yes. Now,
That,
if any of you have had taken Uber, the odds of you getting the same driver is like
yeah,
zero. So it is definitely something that's going on within her life, that God has a master plan for her,
that's true.
that has, created this agreement, this relationship with us, so I can help her to gain more exposure for her business and what it is that she is putting out there. So it's just a part of the whole master plan that he has designed for her,
Amen.
so no matter how frustrated or how mad she becomes because she cannot go back home like she would like and desire to be, but God is working it out for her. So it's just a matter of time before everything comes into place. And I'm just excited to see that journey and see you when you get to that desired point in which you want to be.
I
So
know, I know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just so happy for you, sis. And I want to continue and watch your journey.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You have been
Yes.
a real source of encouragement, and because in particular with the whole YouTube, that kind of never crossed my thoughts. Like I said, okay, we got
Okay.
Facebook, we had Instagram, and so on, but then you suggested that, and I'm thinking like, why didn't that kind of occur? Again, God putting people in your life to kind of point you in the right and the correct
Exactly.
direction,
Exactly.
and so
Yep.
I'm always going
Yep.
to be grateful. I give all praise and all honor and all glory to God because
All glory to God. All glory to
God,
God.
yeah,
Amen.
that provides. He's a God that delivers. Sometimes it does not seem like that, but I've never
Yep.
gone hungry. My children has never gone hungry. They've never gone without clothes or can't go to school, or God has
Mm.
provided more than enough, and I didn't have to I didn't have to mess with my integrity in any way to get anything. God brought that into my hand. Honest
Right.
days for an honest day's pay, and there is just like so many things, so many little events that will happen. When you think, I can't make this, I can't do this, God
Hmm.
shows up. He shows out. He does what he has to do. So, like, don't give up. Don't give up. You're
That's
going
it.
to feel pain.
Yep.
Most things that God would want to have birthed out of you comes with pain. Think
It
about
must.
childbirth.
It must.
Think about
Yes.
childbearing. It comes with pain, but when you hold that baby in your hand, all that
Ooh,
pain disappears. And this, a lot of times, is what God does to us. When He wants to get something out of us, He has to pressure you. He has to. I don't
right.
know what that process is, pruning. I don't know what that process is, but He has to do what He has to do. So use your pain. Some of
Yes.
my greatest accomplishments has happened while I'm healing, while I'm hurting, while I'm going through stuff, while I'm crying. Like literally, sometimes you're
Hmm.
crying. I can't do this. I can't do this, but you're doing it. One
Yes.
step in front of the other. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. I mean, I do not know in terms of, I believe that God wants me to touch the world. I don't know how. I'm not a preacher by any length of anything. I don't preach.
Hmm.
I dance, I sing, but I don't preach. I've never
Okay.
preached about anything, and I don't believe it's in that arena. But whatever God has set up, I'm going to be able to touch the lives. And that's one of the reasons that Nika Noel I'm So Fabulous was born, because I remember my own insecurity as a young woman, and a lot of my focus is centered on women and what they go through. I understand that because one, I'm a woman. I understand because I would have gone through it. And I am equipped. What I went through was not just for me, it was so that I could help and make
Hmm.
sure that whatever you are going through as a woman, that you understand that God doesn't leave you. He doesn't. He cares about you. He cares about how you feel with or without a partner. Your partner is not the pinnacle of your existence. And that's what we as young women have to understand.
Amen.
Our partners are like the icing on the cake. You are the cake. You are the substance. When God
Yes.
brings somebody now that enhances your life, It's the top up. It's the thing that fluff up everything. It's not what the foundation of what holds it. And that's what we do.
Right.
Some people stay with partners because we don't know what to do. Some of us stays with partners because we think I can't do better. You're always able to do better.
Sure.
You're gonna stay in a bad marriage. You're gonna suffer in silence. Beat your spirit into the ground, and you can't live. You're giving no glory to God. Like, what is God gonna do with you when your spirit is so beaten? Don't do that to yourself. You
Mm.
understand? And I had to learn a hard lesson that your partner's got to enhance you.
Right.
If your partner does not enhance you, then that's no place for you to be. It isn't. God is interested in your happiness, whether you're with somebody or without somebody. He's
Mhm.
interested in you as an individual, and you need to be able to see that. I learned many of hard lessons because I could be real stubborn, but God has turned that whole kind of stubborn and determination and that relentless kind of an attitude to benefit me. So now I
Mhm.
know how to focus my energy and not be questioning God and asking, what is it that you're really doing? I don't care what he's doing. Let him just do what he's doing because he knows best what he's doing. I don't know. I'm full of it. I don't know.
That's right.
You understand? So we have to be able to humble ourselves and do what is it that God. And sometimes it seems foolish. Like, how do you want to tell me go and do something that I know I ain't making no money? What's all? What's up with all that? But see, you proved me wrong. Now I'm doing a clothing line. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm traveling. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm sure God is up there like waiting
Mm.
on me to be like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
What you gonna say now?
Well, yeah, you got something to say, little girl? What do you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah.
So,
All right. So
God.
let's talk about your clothing line a little bit. So what inspired you to do that?
Okay, so I remember, well, I'm doing the event planning and so on, and that's what was going okay and that sort of thing. And I remember I was sleeping one day, and my son took a picture of me. I had a
Hmm.
T-shirt that was kind of lying on, and my son, children, they be doing the most kinds of things to you when you're asleep. And he took a
Mm.
picture of me. But when I looked at the picture, he took my phone and he did it. When I looked at the picture, it was like this kind of looked like the ads, like you're trying to advertise sleepwear, that kind of a thing. That came to my mind, and I'm saying
Okay.
maybe I could do some sleepwear. This is a nice picture. I could, I did a little bit of enhancement on it and so on. I said, wow, I ain't looking too bad sleeping and so on and so on. So I said, maybe I can do sleepwear for women. Because women, we want to look good when we're going to sleep. We want to look sexy, we want to look whatever. But in my mind, is it comfortable? Is it a
Right.
comfortable piece? Can I still look good while I'm comfortable? That was kind of the thought. And so I began to kind of draw some stuff, dabble a little, do that, do that, do that. Uh, and that idea kind of transcend into the whole clothing line, t-shirts first, and then and like I could do like a whole thing with
Hmm.
and then that idea was kind of developed from that particular event.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
we got to, and I remember too that, remember I said before that my focus has always been women, because over the years, what had happened as I was going through what I was going through, a lot of young women in my community would call me or they would stop me on the road and they would be like, how did you get through this? Could you help me? They didn't want like financial help or anything of the sort. They just wanted kind of to talk. How did you get yourself out of this situation? How did you, how you start your business? They had all these questions. And I
Right.
would take the time and I would talk with them. Some of them just kind of just wanted some direction, and I did at least the best that I thought that I could. You kind of walk them through, okay, if you try this, you could do this. What are you doing now? Or where you can get the help. You can probably go to this group or go to the ministry or that sort of thing. And so when I decided to do the whole um, clothing line thing, I remembered, I'm
Hmm.
thinking I need to be able to find a way to say to women that you're gorgeous. You understand? You're gonna go through things. You're gonna go through. tough times. You're going to fail sometimes and you're going to triumph sometimes, but still, you are a woman and it's a blessing to be a woman. And so the idea of the whole Nika, I'm so fabulous. Because I always had an attitude if somebody asked me, like, how you doing? I would always say, I'm fabulous. Kind of. So it became a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went ahead and that's how I named. Initially, it was just, I'm so fabulous. And then I said, no, I needed kind of heading. And then I put the Nika Noel and then the I'm so fabulous situation to the bottom.
Awesome. And you do your own logos and a lot of your designs, correct?
Yes. I do all of my designs myself.
Wow.
I do all of my logos myself. Um, but in terms of like setting up the website, and so there's a young man called Sean McAllister that has
Uh-huh.
been a real mentor to me because he does have a clothing line as well. He's from Guyana, but he lives in the States. And
Okay.
Sean was really instrumental in getting me started, encouraging me through the days when I'm like, what am I really doing? Look, I never be bothered with this thing, but he never allowed me to give up. And any
Mm-hmm.
information I needed, I can just call Sean. He's going to take the time to explain. So again, God has been placing people in my life, and this is at no charge. I did pay him for the website, but with every
Okay.
other bit of information and know-how and all of that, I didn't have to pay for that. He tells me step by step, this is what you're going to do. This is how you market. This is how you. He really, really has been instrumental in getting me really started in this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So, how did you come up with the name of Creative Hands?
Oh, creative hands, because when I actually started to do the decorations, one of the like conversations that people would always have about it was like, you guys are very creative.
Right.
Because like okay, we know with weddings there are particular things that you buy or whatever to enhance your with us we found ways to use sometimes whatever we had, like we would take, you take a piece of cloth and somebody wouldn't think anything about the cloth, but we would find a way to put it into the design. And so people would always say, you guys are very creative, your hands are very creative. And so that's kind of how at first it was just, creative. We didn't know what we really wanted to say. At first it was just creative hands. I do have a page that says that. And then over the years now, I add the miss. I add the
Right.
miss to it. And I was able to change it on Facebook. So now I'm known as Miss. So anywhere in my community, if you ask anybody, they don't even remember sometimes that my name is Noel. And initially, my that was well known. Like, oh, she's married to a Noel. She's Miss Noel or whatever. Everybody calls you Miss Creative Hands. Miss Creative Hands. That's how they like they will call your phone Miss Creative Hands. Like they don't even remember a lot of time what my name is.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So, as told by Tina, said these are very nice.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got some people out there supporting you, so they, really admire your work.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Hmm. So, sis, let me ask you. So, what is needed to take your business to the next level?
I think I have not been doing such a good job of exposing myself.
Okay.
I think I've done a little bit of it by just kind of airing the stuff on Facebook and so on. I have
Hmm.
more than 4,000 and something friends, and they
Right.
like the stuff. They will click on it, like the stuff. But what you need is to be able to have those likes turn into actual purchases. And I think
Absolutely.
I don't know how to do that.
I'm
I
gonna help you.
yeah, I don't know how to do that. And then, yes, you can just go to a marketing person and say, okay, could you help me this? But I'm a little bit lost. Like you need somebody who's going to actually be interested in your product and not just on a professional level, but making sure that you as the person grow with your brand and understand, like you're the brand, this is what you need to do, this is what you don't need. This is the mistake you've been making all the time. I've listened to countless how to do's, and but that doesn't save. Do I have some sales? Yeah, sure, but I want I want it to be a whole platform, and that's why the video that you would have seen me talking about the clothing line and all, it's not just a brand. It's a movement to let women know that you are all that in a bag of chips with the dip.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a partner for that to happen. With your partner, you're all that. Without a partner, you're all that. You don't have children, you're all that. You're by yourself, you're all that. You are all that. You are important. You are a woman. And that makes you the cream of the crop. I need women to understand that. You know, just because you had bad experiences, some women would have gone through some things you would not believe. Like some women tell you their story, and you're like, I'm blessed. I've never gone through those things, and then they will probably down themselves because I don't, okay,
Tina, let's see you. Thanks for dropping in.
I don't think that I'm good enough, but you are good enough. God is
Oh,
interested in you and all the talent, and I believe God placed everything inside of us that He needs to take us through life, whether it's to provide for us financially, whether it's to take us to the next, whatever. He placed everything there. We just have to allow Him to do whatever work He has to do so that it will come forth. So
yeah. So yeah, you posted a very inspirational video the other day
thank you.
talking about why am I so fabulous. So I like you to share that word with our audience now.
Okay, so quickly, basically, in the video, I'm talking about why, if a woman is fabulous, it's not, but again, I'm saying it's not just a brand, it's a movement to empower
Right.
each and every girl. You are not fabulous because you rock your hair a certain kind of way. You're not fabulous because your figure is bell shaped. Because that's the position the world has placed us in. Now you need to look a certain way for you to be considered hot or sexy or noticeable. And it's nonsense. Don't do that to yourself. You are fabulous because you were born a woman, and you are fabulous because you were born you. The potential that you have, the
Mm,
gift that you have. There is nobody in this world just like your fingerprint. It's unique. There is nobody in this world that does what you do like you do it. Nobody. A million people could be doing the one thing, but nobody does it the way that you do, and there's a reason for that. If God likes diversity, I believe He's a God of color and splash and difference and everything that is unique and awesome. And this is what our women need to understand. So you are not fabulous because you look a certain way. You are not fabulous because of your religious affiliations or what you believe in politics. You're fabulous because you were born you. Plain and simple. Whether you want to enhance your hair or not enhance your hair, whether you're rocking your nappy curls or you put some extensions on, it doesn't matter. You are fabulous. And I want to be able that when you put on a piece of my clothing, that self-esteem boost comes with it. I'm
yes.
fabulous. Like
There you
I'm
go.
in the mirror, like look at me, I'm gorgeous. Like, woo, my
Yes.
God,
Yes.
I
Yes.
did good. And not just say it, but believe it. Do
Right.
you know what an empowered woman does and can accomplish? A woman that is empowered will conquer this world. You have no idea how women could be. And I
Yeah.
want to be able to pull that out of women by just, by this clothing brand. When they put these clothes on, I want them to understand that I'm all that. I'm powerful. I'm blessed. God took some time on me. God did His work. We go about and we try to change so many things about
Mhm.
ourselves. We cut stuff and we doing that. And I mean, it's your life. I'm not condemning anybody how you choose to live, but I'm just saying a lot of times it's not necessary. You're gorgeous. Like, look at yourself. I mean, I'm not a man, right? But I'm sure men say that, like, what is wrong with her? Why is she doing so much? She was
Right.
gorgeous before
Yeah.
she did all that. And I want women to really grasp. that concept and not sell themselves short.
Yeah. Love yourself, ladies. You are God's beautiful creations. Embrace that and never let anyone tell you different.
Differently. Hmm.
Mhm. All right. So, last question for you, Nika. So, where do you see yourself and your business within the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you want to be?
Okay, I want to be able to have at least in the next 5 years 3 different locations. To have, first of all, I'm just like an online store presently. I do want to be able to establish a physical store. I have
Okay.
kind of not worked my mind like which country that should be in, but I want to be able to kind of have at least 3 different branches uh, established in a physical form and have those running.
Mm-hmm.
And offer these clothing to women. I do make a few stuff for men, but that is not my focus. I'm being a little selfish here.
Understood. Understood. Okay. All right. Good.
So this is what I'm looking
All right. Yeah, that is your passion and your vision. Your inspiration is to cater to the female community. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, the ladies will definitely embrace you and, support you in your vision. So, yeah, that's
for.
what it's all about. Mhm. So, my sis, we are coming up on an hour and a half. So, do you have any final words you would like to share and encourage our audience with before we close out?
Just do not use your pain. Use your pain. Don't let it overpower you. Don't let it overwhelm you. It's probably gonna try. That's your pain's job. But your
Mm,
job is to use your pain. You're hurting. What can I do in this pain that is going to benefit me or benefit somebody else? Use your pain,
right.
waste it. Pain is not there for us just to feel it. Pain can be a motivator.
It
It
has
can,
to be. It
yes,
has to be.
it has to be. Use your pain. So that would be my advice to anybody that's going through. Don't give up. Use your pain. Don't let it use
Awesome. 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 Yes, family. So, with that, I believe we are going to close it out.
you so much.
Um, the links for her website and also her Facebook page are in the comments section below. I encourage you all to connect with her, check out her website, her clothing line, her event planning, and all of the other, her health and wellness business as well. I'm going to drop the link for that one also. But
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
she's a very inspirational young lady that is really picked herself up off the ground, and she's now running. She's running for her future, her vision, and doing the things that she has always aspired and dreamed to do. So, Nika, we want to continue to encourage you. We want to give our blessings and prayers out to you and your family, and hopefully that you will get home soon to be with them. But yeah, I'm going to just enjoy watching you on your journey, and we're going to keep updating everyone on how everything is going for you.
No, I appreciate it. Most likely, you're going to be helping me on that journey.
I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
All righty.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Brother Rob. I so appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me, and thanks, guys, for joining us. Bye bye.
Our pleasure. So, with that being said, friends and family, we're going to sign out. So, on behalf of Nika Noel, this is Rob McCray for the Business Building Network. Thanking you all for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next edition of the Come Up, which will be next Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So, you all have a fabulous evening. Take
Yeah.
care and God
Yeah.
bless.
Bye bye.